My name is Aurora. I'm 42, and during what was supposed to be a family cruise, my daughter ended up standing by herself in the blazing sun for 3 long hours, because the rest of the family left for a private excursion without her. They brushed it off like it was nothing. Later, she turned to me and asked, "Will you keep your promise?" I told her I would. By dinner time, the entire family group chat was in chaos. If you've ever been let down by the very people who were supposed to have your back, you'll understand this. We spotted her near the dock, a towel wrapped around her shoulders, goggles slipping from her wrist as if she'd forgotten she was holding them. She wasn't crying, that made it worse. Daniel, my husband, saw her first. "Celia," he called. She lifted her head at his voice. No running hug, no angry outburst, just a small nod, like she already knew we'd come back too late. We walked toward her slowly, hesitant, not even sure what we were walking into. The sun was relentless. Her cheeks were bright red, her curls stuck to her forehead, and her lips were dry. She had clearly been out there waiting. "Where is everyone?" I asked. "They went," she replied. I frowned. "Already?" "They left without me." She said it with the calm of someone who had practiced those words, who had been sitting there rehearsing them while time passed. Daniel asked quietly, "They gave your spot away?" She nodded. "Asher threw a tantrum. Aunt Jill said I should be the mature one, so she gave him my place. Asher is Jill's son, 9 years old. Celia is 11. She had been buzzing with excitement about this trip for weeks, snorkeling, cliff diving, boat rides. Now she just stood there, pink skin from the sun, clutching her towel. "She told me I could just read or use my phone," Celia added softly. "But my phone died, so I just waited." She looked smaller than usual, though she was trying hard not to. Daniel stood rigid beside me, jaw tight, silent fury in his eyes. "She didn't even ask me," Celia whispered. "She just told me to understand." And then she turned to me, not upset, not pleading, just tired, and asked, "So, does it count? Will you keep your promise?" I answered without hesitation. "Yes. I will." Celia gave a small smile. "Cool." 3 hours later, the family chat was in meltdown. By dinner, everyone was panicking. People like to think adoption is just paperwork, you apply, sign, and then one day you bring a child home and call it family. But that wasn't our story. For me, it began with 4 years of trying, vitamins, appointments, ovulation trackers, endless waiting rooms where I sat with one hand on my stomach, begging it to work. For 4 years, I clung to the idea that one day I'd be a mom. By year 2, I started dreaming of a child who was already mine. Sometimes she looked like me, sometimes not, but she always called me mom as if it was the most natural word in the world. I would wake up crying, then keep trying. By year 4, Daniel and I were sitting in a social worker's office, hearing the warnings about foster to adopt. It would be long, unpredictable, with no promises. We nodded like we understood. We didn't. And then Celia came into our lives. She was 6, tight curls, wary brown eyes, arms crossed like she was protecting herself. That first night, she didn't speak a word. Even when I offered her ice cream, she just stared, already bracing for disappointment. She had lived through enough to have reasons not to trust. At night, I'd hear muffled sobs through her bedroom door. Not loud cries for comfort, quiet ones, the kind kids make when they don't want to bother anyone. I'd sit outside, whispering that she was safe now, that she could take her time. It was months before she called me anything. The first time she whispered "Mom," she said it like a test. I pretended not to notice, just smiled at the dishes I was washing. Later, I locked myself in the bathroom and cried harder than I ever had. Daniel had to earn her trust, too. She kept her distance at first, but he showed up every day. Sat on the floor while she colored, let her help fix things that didn't need fixing, held out his hand each morning, never pressuring her to take it. Eventually, she did. One day, she casually said, "Be careful, Dad," while he was changing a light bulb. He dropped it, and we both pretended it was just clumsy. We never knew if we'd get to keep her. Every court hearing was like holding our breath. Every call from the caseworker sent my heart racing. I wanted her forever, but I lived in fear that someone would take her away. And then one day, the judge said yes. The caseworker hugged us, called me Mom, and it was official. Celia was ours. We celebrated with ice cream. She piled every ridiculous topping on her bowl and grinned the whole time. That's why it stings so deeply when people act like she's lucky to have us, like we rescued her. As if loving our daughter makes us saints. The truth is, we're the lucky ones. Every day. But not everyone treated her that way. The first red flag came at my sister Jill's Thanksgiving, months after the adoption. All the kids wore matching Etsy shirts with their names printed in gold script. Except Celia. She wore a plain pink sweatshirt. Jill laughed, "Oh, I didn't think she'd want one, she's more introverted." I opened my mouth, but my mom shot me that look, the one that meant "don't ruin this." So I swallowed it. Told myself I'd speak up next time. But next time kept coming. The group chat about the family reunion that somehow excluded me. The Christmas slideshow with every niece and nephew, but no Celia. The birthday party where every kid got a gift bag, except hers, which held a broken crayon, a pen, and a peppermint. Jill shrugged, "She's older. The little ones are into that stuff." She was 9. Even when Celia tried, they shut her out. The cousins huddled together, whispering, laughing, while she lingered on the edge with her cup or plate, pretending not to mind. Sometimes she'd force a smile in my direction. Sometimes she didn't bother. One night, she asked if she was just visiting our life. Like this was temporary. Like she wasn't real family. That broke me. Daniel told her then, "If they ever make you feel small again, we walk. No more chances. You don't need their permission to belong." Celia didn't cry. She just nodded. Cool. When the cruise was announced, I hesitated. A whole week with the extended family in shared cabins? But Celia was excited. She packed days early, practiced her snorkeling, and said, "They'll really like me this time." The morning of the excursion, she proudly chose the adventurous group, the same one her cousins picked. Daniel and I signed up for the calmer one. She was thrilled to be going without us. She waved goodbye, goggles in hand, smiling. And then Jill cut her out. Handed her spot to Asher. Told her to be mature. They left her by the dock. Alone. For 3 hours. When we found her, she wasn't crying. She wasn't complaining. She just asked if it counted. It did. All the little slights, all the times we told ourselves she could handle it, it all came to a head in that moment. And when she asked, "Will you do what you promised?" I told her yes. No hesitation. 3 hours later, the family chat was chaos. By dinner, panic had replaced their laughter. And we? We never went back to that ship. We walked Celia over to a small hotel past the boardwalk, booked a room, and none of us said much. In the elevator, she dropped her towel like it was a burden. Her skin was flushed from the sun. I helped her rinse off in the shower, then gave her one of Daniel's baggy t-shirts. Daniel called room service, 3 milkshakes, 2 baskets of fries. Celia drained hers in a single breath, then collapsed on the bed without even asking what was next. Before her eyes closed, Daniel had already canceled the rest of our cruise. The money was gone, but neither of us cared. That night in the lobby, we spotted a flyer for a private snorkeling trip, the exact kind of excursion she'd been excluded from. It left the next morning. Daniel booked 3 spots. When we told her, she woke up grinning. Meanwhile, silence from the family, only vague texts in the group chat. "Where are you? Everything okay?" We looked for you at dinner. We ignored them. That's when the real panic began. Jill texted first, "Hey, you're supposed to do dolphin swim sign-ins tomorrow. Can someone explain? Where's Lauren?" Then my mom chimed in, "We had this all planned out so carefully. This is putting so much on Jill. Please, just call." Then nothing, like they realized something had shifted. Daniel and I sat on the edge of the hotel bed, watching Celia dunk cookies into milk, when his phone lit up, 12 missed calls in 10 minutes. Mom, sister, aunt, then mom again. Cousins started flooding in. Wait, did Lauren and Daniel actually leave? Are you serious? What about Thursday's snorkeling? We needed their signatures. Then one of the parents dropped the bomb. The kids can't do water park day without 2 more chaperones. We literally can't go. The group chat imploded. Who's watching the toddlers? What about the refunds? My kids are crying, they've waited all year. The last message came from Joel, "You've ruined this entire trip." That one made Daniel laugh. Not a happy laugh, a sharp, bitter laugh, the kind that says, "See? Proved my point." We didn't reply. Next morning, blurry photos popped up in the cruise group chat, kids in street clothes, confused, standing outside the zipline banner. They weren't allowed in, too many kids, not enough adults. Rules were rules. Jill tried bargaining, staff refused. No refunds. By noon, Jill was blowing up our phones directly, "We're done joking. You owe us. At least pay for the excursion." Everyone's furious. Daniel switched his phone to airplane mode. Celia just asked if we could go get snow cones. Later that evening, Melissa, my cousin's wife, sent a quiet DM, "I saw what happened. I don't know the whole story, but it didn't feel right." That was the first time I realized it wasn't just us noticing. We didn't post, didn't defend, but silence wasn't holding. People were whispering, asking what really went down. Jill, though, already had her version circulating. She had the head start. 3 days after the cruise ended, her email landed, subject line, "What you did to this family." It read half like a breakup, half like an invoice. She claimed a nervous breakdown, accused us of wrecking the vacation, blamed us for cancelled excursions, and demanded repayment. She even attached a spreadsheet, line items for dolphin swims, the cancelled group dinner, a full-day adventure park. There was even a section labeled emotional toll. Our parents backed her. Mom texted late, "This is spiraling. Just pay and move on." 2 minutes later, "Do it for the kids." Oh yes, the same kids we'd abandoned by protecting our own daughter. We held our silence. Then came the public round. Jill broadcast her story in the extended family chat, claiming we walked off over a minor seating error, that we embarrassed her in front of her children, that we refused to be adults. She ended with, "Some people would rather tear apart a family than admit they overreacted." For a day, it felt like maybe she'd won. No one spoke up for us. Some relatives quietly left the chat. Others posted neutral lines, "Family is complicated. Let's not fight." Celia noticed too. She didn't comment, but I caught her sneaking glances at my phone, watching the silence stretch. Then Daniel sent one message. Not to her privately, he copied everyone. He wrote, "We paid for every activity we used, including the one you denied to Celia after she looked forward to it for weeks. We left because you made it clear again that she didn't matter to you. If this ruined your trip, that's not our fault. It's the cost of your choices." No emojis, no flourish, just that. We thought that was the end. Instead, it cracked everything open. Melissa messaged again, "I saw Celia standing alone that morning." Asher ran ahead shouting he took her place. I felt sick. "I'm sorry I didn't speak then." Then Rachel, another parent, "My daughter asked why Celia wasn't there. She said Jill told them Celia wasn't really a cousin." "I'm so sorry." It snowballed. Someone admitted Jill once joked that Celia was Daniel's bonus child. Another said they noticed she was missing from group photos, her name cards never set out, her gifts always last-minute airport buys. Then Nora, Jill's own niece, finally posted in the big chat, "We all know this isn't new. You've treated Celia like an outsider from the start. I'm done pretending." That was the crack. Within days, the family split. Jill and my parents dismissed it all as too sensitive nonsense. But others, people I hadn't heard from in years, messaged their support. Some said they were proud of us. Others admitted they wished they'd spoken sooner. A few cousins even texted Celia directly, "I'm sorry. I miss you. Want to hang out sometime?" We cut off Jill and my parents completely. Blocked their numbers after Mom's final text, "You're tearing this family apart over one hurt feeling." Celia read it over my shoulder, said nothing, just walked away. Next morning, Daniel and I asked her if she wanted to invite anyone over that summer. She smiled and named 4 cousins, the same ones who had reached out. We started a small group chat, planned a weekend away, just us. It felt good. Quiet. Like a reset. We didn't win revenge. But we gained clarity. We didn't tear the family down, we simply stopped shrinking to fit inside it. And Celia, she shifted. She stopped hovering in corners, stopped scanning her phone for approval that never came. She walks differently now, straighter, brighter. 5 years later, she just turned 16. Spent her birthday at the beach with those cousins who stayed. They brought cupcakes, not out of guilt, but love. One gave her a book with a handwritten note inside. She remembers that cruise, not the ship, not the rides, but the dock, the heat, the towel she clutched tight. She remembers being left behind. But even more, she remembers what came after. The moment she was chosen. We lost plenty that day. But not ourselves. Sometimes I wonder, was it too far? Or was it the first time we finally drew the line? Let me know what you think in the comments. And if you want more stories like this, hit subscribe and turn on the bell.